president says there will be no ground troops in Iraq to fight ISIS, ISIL, or whatever the name of the day is. Joining us on 710 KURV, political insider, campaign consultant, Hassan Giordano. Welcome back to the show. Hassan, the president said no ground troops, but I did not hear in any of the press conferences and the follow-ups, I did not hear the administration say no ground troops whatsoever. So that door is still kind of open a little bit, right?
Well, I would hope so, and I somewhat want to agree with you. I mean, this is a president that spoke in his usual style of measured phrases and recognizing the emergence of this danger, but not exaggerating it. And so, I think at this point, the president wants to say that there's not going to be ground troops on the ground, any boots on the ground as of now. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, again, like you said, that it's a definitive statement that this is never going to happen in the future, because I think the only definitive thing we know right now is that we have uncertainty as to how we're going to attack ISIS and diminish their troops or eliminate it altogether. But I do think that it hurts when America is trying to put this broad coalition of nations together to say, okay, we need your troops on the ground, but we're not willing to put our own.
Well, I mean, they're closer to the action. I mean, I think enough American blood has been shed already to try to prop up this Iraqi regime.
Great point.
Anybody nearby who has more interest in this fight, hello, would you like to fight him? Come on over. We'll give you some air power. I mean, I think that's a fair argument.
Well, again, we would hope that especially the Arab countries will come on board and help. But it goes beyond. See, we're looking at it from our tactical standpoint of what it means for this country. But when you look at these Arab countries who are very much divided in sects and Islamic sects, it goes beyond just the immediate threat, but the future of, as Sunnis, do we want to attack ISIS? And if so, what does this mean for us in the future? And so, it goes way beyond just saying, okay, come on board and do what you can. We've seen the Saudis say that they'll give us more assistance than they have during the Gulf War, but they're still hesitant about putting troops on the ground. So, if nobody's going to put troops on the ground, and that's all we're going to do is fly over and give some bombs, I don't think that's going to eliminate the threat of ISIS.
Hassan, do you think that perhaps we're jumping into this just a little bit too early, maybe should be allowing a bit more time to allow things to play out? I mean, it is, in my opinion, ISIS is a threat. These are a bunch of Islamic nut jobs that, if they had a chance to flip a switch and get rid of America, they would immediately get rid of the great Satan. But there are individuals, there are countries that are closer to the action that are more threatened by these animals. I don't know. I think it should be a bit more hands-off, allow them to finally wake up and realize they need to put in their assets, their people, their military, their planes first. And finally, after they wake up, maybe we can come and say, okay, we'll help you mop up.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think if you look at the polling today, and unfortunately that's how our politicians seem to govern today based off of polling, but our polling today, most Americans believe that this is a threat that we see in the future possibly, but at this point is not imminent danger to America. So allow the countries that it may be more imminent to kind of intervene and take on the actions and give them the support, like the Syrian rebels. Give them, train them, equip them with the necessary tools in order to combat this threat. And then later on, if it's not working, then America can intervene if needed.
10-4 political consultant Hassan Giordano joining us on 710 KURV.
Yeah, Hassan, Tim Sullivan here, and I'm pretty much on board with the scenario that Serge laid out here. Do you want to see U.S. ground troops? Because the plan by the Obama administration, the plan anyway, and obviously there are a lot of questions, a lot of things could go wrong, and the administration acknowledges that. But the plan is for other countries to be on the ground with U.S. airstrikes backing them up. And as Serge mentioned, the other Arab countries in that region have had a whole lot of time and military power, thanks to us, to try to defeat ISIL at the time when they were just getting underway.
No, Tim, I absolutely agree. I don't believe we need to have ground troops on the ground at this point. I don't want to put American soldiers and lives at risk because of a threat that, again, these other Arab countries and those closer need to be more hands-on than we need to be at this point. If they're not willing to do it, then why should we? I agree with that. But I think the president also kind of got away with let Congress off the hook, not holding them to a vote to say, that's why we have Lindsey Graham, John McCain, and them able to get on talk radio and talk about how bad the president is doing, because they pretty much have a free pass, because the president has said himself that, moving forward, that he would act following only consultation with Congress, not after asking their permission. And I think you've seen now with Congress kind of saying we're not going to vote on or have any full debate on military action until after the midterms, shows that these politicians are more worried about re-election than they are doing what's right for the Americans.
Yeah, full-fledged war that John McCain apparently wants us to fight. That's not the right answer.
Hassan, 1/2 seconds. If the president were to encapsulate and simplistically feed it to the American people that way, they need to step up before we come back in. I mean, that easy. That's simple. Do you think the American people would be behind him 100%? Hassan is gone. I'll take that as a yes.